One of the questions that I get asked very often is whether or not I've had any doubts about my vocation to be a nun now that I've been a nun for over 11 years. The answer is no, I don't have any doubts about my vocation to this religious life. The doubts that I had when I first entered community were only about whether this was the right community for me. That's one of the parts of the discernment process, is when you go into a community in the beginning, you're really discerning whether or not it's the right place for you, the right culture, the right ministries, the right people. I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's very much like finding a college. You have to determine whether or not the energy there matches the energy that you're looking for your future. It doesn't have to match exactly, because it never will. But there were days before I became life professed, after being here for 6 years, I really wrestled with the fact that, I'm asking God whether or not this is the place for me. And I came to the conclusion that yes, it is. God's not going to hit you over the head with signs or make a neon sign flashing in front of you. It's more like a slow, gradual discernment process where you say, okay, I'm becoming more and more involved in ministry in this area. I'm making friends. I'm establishing connections with my sisters. I believe in the history of what made this place what it is today, and I believe that we have a wonderful future. That was my discernment process. Before I entered community, there were a lot of questions in my mind about whether or not this was real, that this was a real calling, or whether it was just some crazy idea that I had come up with because secular life wasn't working in the ways that I wanted to. That's an important question to ask yourself when you're discerning anything, whether it's a path to ministry, a path to becoming a brother or a sister, or anything else in the church, is this of God? And one of the ways that I could tell that it was of God was that I couldn't get rid of it. I'd been called since I was a child, and I kept trying to cure it in therapy. I kept trying to ignore it, distract myself, and to find other things in my life, other career paths, other possibilities for my future. I had a long list of what I call my plan Bs, because plan A was always to become a sister. And I would often bring that into prayer, my lists, and I would say, God, are you calling me to be something else? And the call was so persistent, it just got louder and louder and louder. And I did not enter a religious community until I was 46 years old, because people all my life, therapists, everybody told me, it's not a healthy life. It's not going to make you happy to be a sister. Being happy as a woman would involve getting married and having kids. Everybody told me that, everybody in my life, because that's what brings a lot of people happiness. I mean, it's a genuine instinct to want somebody to be happy in the way that you are, but not everybody's cut out for that. Finally, I stopped listening to everybody else. I entered the community when I was 46. I've never been happier or more fulfilled in my entire life. And since I entered, I have never had a doubt that this is where God wants me to be.